Flosstube, welcome to my channel Home Sweet Home Handmade. I'm Natalie and this is my Flosstube channel where I talk to you about everything cross stitch. This is episode 74 and it's Monday the 26th of May 2025. It's Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK and I believe it's Memorial Weekend in the US. Correct me if I'm wrong. So today I've got a finish to talk about. I've also got some new starts, 2 giveaways to announce and progress on WIPs and just a little bit of haul, not much. So if you haven't already done so, grab yourself a cuppa. I've got coffee this morning. It's a bit of a usual bank holiday weekend here, sunshine and showers. Hubby's gone out for a ride on his motorbike and I hope he isn't caught in a shower because there's a great big black cloud there. The boys, Percy and Simon, they are upstairs on the bed having their late morning snooze and you would have seen them in the intro video, and that is Simon. He likes to make biscuits on, or he does that on Percy's tummy. He loves doing that. They're very cute together. So I'm going to announce the 2 giveaway winners so that I don't forget this time. So I was giving away for my 5 years of Flosstube this bunny in a basket. It's new, I've not used it, and apologies for the little Simon love nibbles there, but it's not affected the chart. So thank you to everybody that commented and left lovely messages, and the winner is Cheryl L8236. And so Cheryl, if you would send me an email with your contact details, your name and your address, and I'll pop it in the post to you. My email address can be found in the description box below, along with all clickable links of shops that I mention or the Flosstubers. So congratulations, Cheryl. And then I was giving away this chart, the Madame Chantilly Cats in the Rain, because I showed you that I had finished it. haven't took this to the framers yet, but I am going to take it to the framers here in Lincolnshire to try the new one I found. So that was my finish on Cats in the Rain. I love stitching this. And the winner is Hannah A1278. And in Hannah's comment, she said that she likes the Heritage Crafts, the cats looking out from the harbour. And I thought, I'm sure I've got one of those. So I went digging in my stash, and I know there is a harbour view, but I've got island view. Please excuse my horrible nails, they need sorting out. Isn't that cute? So there is a companion piece. There it is, there. Harbour view. Oh yeah. Do like this one. So congratulations, Hannah. And as with Cheryl, if you will pop me your address and name details in an email, and I'll pop that in the post to you. And thank you to everybody that shared their favourite cat designs. I completely went down a rabbit hole with that, looking at them all on the internet. And also thank you for just your comments in general. They've been really, really lovely, and I really love engaging and interacting with you in the comments. So while you're watching this, if you're stitching on something, let me know what you're stitching on and where you are in the world, because I really like to read that. Right, we are going in no particular order, and as you can see, I'm downstairs again. With the boys being upstairs, I thought I'd film downstairs. And this here, I'll show you, was a vintage find that I found on Etsy. It's a candle screen. So, oh, I don't know, I'm guessing Victorian times. If they had a candle nearby them to read or something, and they didn't want the heat directly on them, they had a candle screen. And this is such a sweet little stitch. And my husband's nan was called Gwendolyn Annie. So of course this had to come home and live with us. I do love it. If anybody recognises that chart, let me know what you think it is. I think it might be a prairie schooler, I'm not sure. But anyway, I thought I'd just show you that as it's in the background. There we go. So we're starting no particular order. I don't know what's in what bag because I haven't put those little tags on yet. But I do know what's in this one. It's Lady Halloween. And this is the stitch that I am really, really enjoying at the moment. I'm just going to find the front cover. There we go. So Jardin Privé, Lady Halloween. And somebody did comment and say whether they were stitching it or were going to stitch it, they were going to do this colourway. I just love this. And I don't see too many people stitching this. So I'm stitching this on a piece of Vintage Country Cream. I'm using Cottage Garden Threads Storm, and that is what I've got left. So I've ordered some more because I needed it. But I love these threads. So let me show you where I am. And it's come along really nicely, and I do really enjoy stitching this. So it's getting so big I can't hold it up. So I managed to complete what I said I'd like to do, which is the X, Y and Z and the little spider, and also those jars. And then I went back up to the top and I've started here. That's the chart. So I started in here. So I think I want to get that motif finished and do D, E, F and G. And then the broomstick, that little Quaker motif, and then it will be time to come down and start on her dress. But I've loved this. I've really loved doing this. And I like the variegation of the cottage garden threads as well. Will I get it done in time for this Halloween? I'm not sure, I might do. I have also put in here, and it's not a definite, because I need to find a purple. I have said to you that I'm thinking, because I'm doing it in one thread which is black and grey, then I might do her hair in either a green or a purple. And I've just popped this in the project bag, and it's Gentle Art Sampler Threads Key Lime, a really bright green. So if you are watching this from the UK, that'll be like a Grot Bags green, if you remember her. So what I'll do is I'll go in my thread stash and I'll find out a purple. I said I was going to do it on Instagram, but no, I'll do it on here for next time. So I'll find a purple, and then you can tell me if you think I should stitch the hair in the green or the purple, and we'll have a little vote. So yeah, so I want to finish this motif here and go across the top now. I think I said I'm stitching this on a 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐤𝐞 Vintage Country Cream, and I think it's a 16 count Ada. And if you're new here, I am an Ada stitcher, and I also stitch in hand. I'm just going to stop it a moment because I realise I've forgotten something. I'm back, I had to pop upstairs. So the next one I've got in this project bag is a new start, and I wanted to start it after I finished this book. And I showed you this book in my Flosstube Extra Stitching from Southwold video. And I picked this up in Aldborough Bookshop, and I was waiting to pick it up because I'd previously read her debut novel, Wayward, which was, it was set over 3 generations of women about witchcraft. And this is set, well, it's modern day, and then it also goes back to the convict ships that sailed from the UK to Australia. I won't tell you too much, but I would say this was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. And because I really loved the first one, Wayward, about witchcraft, I was thinking, I hope I enjoyed this one as much as the first one. And yes, I definitely did. It's just brilliant. She's a really good writer. I really enjoyed it, so I very much recommend this one to purchase or get from your local library. So so this book inspired this new start. And if you follow me on Instagram, where I'm also 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐿 Handmade, you'll know this already. So this is Letty Stitch Mermaid Kiss, and I did my usual top left start. This is a full coverage piece, and it has got the gridded Ada, and it is anchor threads. just love that. It's not not what I'd usually go for, but yeah, I really like it. So these are the threads. So they come on cards like this. So look at all those blues, and there's I think that's in her tail, I think. Now, I've never used this gridded Aida before, which does, you wash the piece at the end and then the grids go away. And I started using the sort of grids as a guide and I just couldn't. So that is my start. It doesn't look very much, but each of those squares is 100 stitches. So as I say, I started up here in the sky. I'm not too far away from the lighthouse. I am really, really enjoying this. Sorry, the light in here is not the best. So that's Mermaid Kiss from Letty Stitch. Yeah, I think that gold thread is here and also in the stars in her hair as well. So I'm keeping this in my lady Halloween bag, doubling up projects. I'll have to put it all back because otherwise it will be an almighty mess, which it is anyway, but I won't know what goes in what bag unless I put them all back. Right. What should I talk about next? Oh, this one. So this one is being kept in my Made by Rachel bag. Very cute, like a woodland scene. And I'm hoping that the sound is okay on this video, because somebody did comment, I don't know whether it was on the last one or the one before, that the sound was very quiet. So I do hope that the sound is okay on this one. I am sat a little bit closer. So this one in here is my Cottage Garden Samplings Needleworkers sampler that I am stitching along with Sharon from Magnolia Nana. Just gonna have to grab a little drink. That's it, wet my whistles, my nan used to say. And I love this sampler. I'm not a traditional sampler stitcher. I really like this and I really want to see some more progress on it. So I pulled it out yesterday afternoon or early evening, and I managed to get a little bit done. So that's where I am at the moment. And yesterday I was working on this basket of balls of wool. So I'd like to carry on with this and get this motif finished if I can, and then also go back to the house. There is a lot of stitching in this. It doesn't look like it. Oh, it's upside down. But there is. Especially the house, to bring the borders down as well. But it's a beautiful stitch, and I'm stitching this with all the cord for, I think it's TMCs, yeah, and a Fabric Flare Cafe au lait 16 count Aida, and it is beautiful. So I want to see some progress on this one. Next is a Christmas one. I am a seasonal stitcher, but sometimes some projects will just call to me. So I'm keeping this in my Christmas kitty bag, along with a lot of Percy and Simon fur. This is from Pauline at Sobe Bags, and I'll put a link to her Instagram page where she sells her bags. And this is Lavender and Lace Winter Rose. And I have got a before picture, so I'll pop it in here. Keeping all my threads, I think they're DMCs. Yes, they're DMCs. In this little Christmassy winter little notions bag, and that's by Rachel as well, made by Rachel on Etsy. I love that fabric. And I'm stitching this on a pale blue, oh, I've got a tag. I've got a 1, 2, 3 stitch tag. So this is 16 count ice blue Ada, and I just put a bit more in of, sorry, faffing around here. There we go. I just put a bit more in of the corner. Where is it? There it is. So I've nearly finished one of the corners. Isn't it beautiful? And not very many colours either in this. So my plan, I think, for this one is to finish the corner, go over to that corner and come down and do these like background rose bushes and then start on the lady. But yeah, I'm loving that one. It's funny, isn't it, how sometimes a project just calls to you, and it might be a Christmas one and you're in the middle of spring. Right, the next one is my WIP's Begone focus for May. I have stitched on it, but not as much as I should have done. And WIP's Begone is a variation on Jessie Marie Does Stuff, WIP Go, and it's me, my sister Emily, who is stitching from Gnome Cottage on Instagram, Amy from Amy Loves Toads, and Donna Ray from Flannel Jammy's Farm. And this is my Hawkrun Hollow that I'm keeping in this lovely bag. So this was a birthday start for me too many moons ago. And I am doing the village of Hawkrun, and Emily started the year, and I think she's down to about August, September, and I'm still languishing on block 1. I have done a little bit on it, not a lot, but a little bit. So I don't know with this one, it just doesn't call to me at all. Maybe it will when I get block 1 done. So I've done some more of the border, which I did with a Stitchy Zoom chat with Donna Ray, and I put in Lyotha Village. Let's see if I can get a bit more in before the end of the month, because I do sort of enjoy stitching on it when I pull it out, but it is not one that calls to me. So as I say, once I get block 1 done and see some progress, then I might want to pick it up a bit more. So I think let's keep this out today and get those birds done. Just small goals, I think I've realised I need. And anyhow, it's my stitching. If I break my rules, They're my rules. Right, what else have we got? Oh, I must put that back. Goes in there. Right, on to the next one, which is in another amazing Made by Rachel bag. It's a Winnie the Pooh thing. And I've put this crochet rainbow on. I love it. I popped into a craft shop, which is not too far from me. I go past it when I go to Norfolk. And I always said to myself, I must pop in there. And if you're watching this, it's the one at Hubbard's Bridge. So I popped in, and it was mostly wool, but I did pick up some beading needles and some ric-rac, and she had a lot of crochet things. And I got this very, very cute, like that way, rainbow keyring that I thought I'd put on a project bag. And this was £3.50. So if you want one, Em, let me know and I'll pick you one up. I'm not sure if it's your thing though, but I think it's very cute. And the lady in there was running the shop for her daughter, and we had a very nice chat. She told me she was 80, and I said, do you get many people come and visit? And she said, oh yeah, we're always busy. And she said the other week they had two ladies that drove up from Devon because their local wool shop had closed and they wanted to buy from a shop rather than online. So they drove up from Devon to Lincolnshire, 5 hours, stopped at this little, it's a converted garage on the side of a bungalow. So that tells you how tiny it is. And she said they bought an enormous amount of wool, and they were having lunch and driving back again. And I said to her, surely there is another wool shop closer, like in Cornwall or, you know, nearer to them, rather than driving 10 hours. And she said, I know. She said, but it was good for me because they did a really big order with her. So as I say, she's got some very cute handmade little crochet bits. She's got a crochet like bouquet of flowers that was amazing. And I asked her if, and she didn't make them, it was a lady that she knew that sells them on her behalf. They were really reasonable. And I said, does she crochet Christmas bouquets? And she said, yes. So I was thinking, ooh, Christmas gift ideas, maybe one for my mother-in-law. So anyway, enough rabbiting on. But just let me know, if you want one of those. In here is the Violis Forest Calendar Kit. And this is coming along nicely. And it is 14 count flax and 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐤𝐸. And it has got the wool acrylic threads. Now, I said I really liked them, but I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with them on square 3. So I've done basically January, February, I'm on March. So that is where we are at. So I have made a mistake in the sun. I'm not pulling it out because this was wool acrylic threads. I'm not going to do that. So I have got the bunny stitch. And then I really need to put these borders in as well. I really like this, it's so cute. And it looks so much better, I think, in person. I can't really decide which square that I like the most. I do really like this one, the October one, but I like this one as well, and that owl. And also you could stitch just one of these charts for a little gift or a card. So that's where I am. Sorry, the lighting, as I say, is quite rubbish down here. And I will perhaps go back and film upstairs. When I don't know what to stitch on, my hubby always says, "Oh, bring out the one with the squares with the animals." He really likes this one. Then the next one that I've stitched on, yeah, I've touched quite a few projects since I last saw you, is the Hometown Neighbourhood series Beehive House. And when I showed this to you last time on my last regular Flosstube, I'd just done the red there and the pink. I didn't have the darker pink. So I'm stitching this on a piece of Ada from my stash. I don't know what colour. I think it's a 14 count. And that is where I am up to. So as I say, I put the darker spots in there and the leaf and the stalk, and then I've gone on to this very cute bee, and I am really loving this. And it's not actually as big as what I thought it was going to be. So once I get that other wing in, that's how wide it will be. I've now got all the threads for this. Isn't that really cute? I can see this being framed in a sort of white shabby chic frame. And somebody in the comments, I mentioned it said number 2 of 12. I didn't realise this was a series. And somebody said that there is actually a Jane Austen house, which I must have a look at, because I am planning to start that Jane Austen kit that I picked up from River Drift House Designs to celebrate Jane Austen's birthday on the 16th of December 250 years ago. So I also stitched on this one, but the frog is going to have to come out on this one. So that's Lindy Stitches Staying Warm, and it just, I love this, it makes me laugh. Now I've already stitched the black and white cat on her head, and I said I would put some more of the hair in, but sorry, I couldn't find the thread that I'd used to put some of the hair in. It wasn't in this wallet, so I used another one, and I'm not really happy with my stitches, so I'm going to pull out what I put in, which is there, and I'm not showing you closely because they're hideous stitches, and a bit here. I'm just not happy with it, and I think I'm going to use this DMC for her hair. I absolutely love this fabric. It is by Sparklies, and it's a 14 count, is it 14? Yes, 14 count Ada called Maelstrom. And if you're from the UK, do you remember that series called Maelstrom? I remember watching it when I was growing up, and it was set in Sweden or somewhere like that. And I just vividly remember the scene where the house goes on fire, and it shows you the room with all the dolls, and the dolls' faces melting. Frightened me to death. So that's Sparkly's Maelstrom that I'm stitching this on. So yeah, I mean, this fabric, it is absolutely beautiful, and I think I said before, it's lovely to stitch on. It's not too stiff, not too soft, and the mottling is gorgeous. So I think I'll keep this out, and I will pull out those horrible, hideous stitches before I start again. Which is a shame, but I think it's best to stop now and pull that out because I'm not happy with it. I'm just going to have another little drink. This is quite a chatty, rabbity floss tube, isn't it? I also want to say a special big thank you to Leslie as well, who has pressed the super thanks button on my last 2 videos. That's really kind of you, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate you just being here and just watching. You know, that blew me away, so thank you. And also I really appreciate you watching the ads as well, because as the saying goes, every little helps. And I should know by the middle of next month, June, what is happening about my job, if I'm going to be made redundant. But in the meantime, I've seen something else to apply for, so I'll keep you updated. The next one is my 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞 stitching challenge that I'm stitching along with Laura from 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐵𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐿, and I'm keeping this in my not appropriate for the project gorgeous beach sea themed bag. Maybe I ought to keep Mermaid's Kiss in this, from Pauline, so it's another Sobe bags. So after I saw you last time when I filmed on the Friday, I was really ill. I had a bout of flu, and I don't mind talking about this because it is Fibromyalgia Awareness Month in May. I have fibromyalgia, so I had a double bout of flu and fibromyalgia, and it absolutely knocked me for 6. So I had some days off work. I didn't get out of bed for a couple of days. So this cycling challenge, let's just say I've had quite a few punctures and a few where I've gone over the handlebars, meaning that I'm not keeping up. So I am stitching on the 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿 black and white cat by Heritage Crafts. And I think because I had failed so dismally, can't say that word, because of illness, I think I'm going to keep this out in June and put a thread a day on it just to see some more progress. It's just one of those things, isn't it? I think I've realised that I can't do big challenges anymore because I work full time and I've got this horrible chronic illness, which is a pain. So I think it is just small goals that I need. And as long as I'm stitching, that's what it's all about, isn't it? But Laura, I've been following her progress on Instagram, and she's been making amazing progress on that damn water, as she calls it. So this is where I am. So I have, I'm just trying to think what I've done. What have I done? So I've done this leaf and around here. So not very much progress. So as I say, I will keep this out in June for a thread a day, and I will stitch on it today as well. But unfortunately I've had to retire from the cycling challenge because I haven't got enough tyres left for all the punctures I've had. And the other two cats in the series, I've got that one, haven't got that one. So when I finish stitching this, and I'm not giving myself a time scale, I will start on this one and I'll pick that one up. I think they will look really lovely together in the same frame, not in the same frame, but framed individually in the same frame, you know what I mean. I'm thinking I might put those in my spare room when we move. And also with the work situation I've got going on, and we are selling this cottage as well, so I've got a lot going on at the moment, which doesn't help with the fibro. But isn't it beautiful? So you would say these are full coverage pieces, although there is a lot of block stitching. So I'm not going to beat myself up. Oh, Lara, if you're watching, look at the chickens. Happy hens. Yeah, I'm not going to beat myself up. I tried and I did some stitching. And sometimes, as my husband would say, that he frequently quotes from Dirty Harry, a man has got to know his limitations. And I haven't quite worked that out with having this fibro. Right, so the last two projects I'm going to show you, and then we've got a bit of haul and a plan. So I started these yesterday. I know it's terrible, but this one has been on my mind for a while. And as I've just told you about me having fibromyalgia, I've had this chart for ages. This is from the Happy Sloth, and it's the panda, and it says nope. And I just love that, and that is me when I'm having one of my flare-ups. So I've got the idea. I was thinking, well, obviously I'm using DMC 310 Blanc, and then I've got a light grey. I'm going to finish this in a hoop, and I've got an idea that I'd quite like to get a hoop from Stitch Kits Crafts, I think it is. I've used them a lot. They do a lot of Liberty hoops, and I'd really like to get the Liberty Betsy fabric, but in the purple, because I think that would go really nice, because I'm stitching this on, I don't know what it is, I think it's a Picture This Plus, but it's a sort of light mottled grey, and I think having the purple Betsy fabric will be lovely. So I've got the little face in. I think that's so cute. So as I say, I'll put a link. I think it was an Etsy shop. I bought it a long time ago, and the chart, I mean, it's really good. They give you several variations, and it's huge. So yeah, I'll put a link to their Etsy shop. Nope. And then on the other side of this, got a bit of startitis yesterday. I pulled, this is all from stash as well. I pulled this one out from my stash, and it's the Old Barn Stitching Company Co. Berry Barn Pinkheap. And I knew I got this that I picked up in the works. Get in. This little easel. And I knew I got this, and I just thought, oh, I think I might stitch this and put it on there. So I pulled threads from stash. I've completely changed the colourway a bit, and I just made a little tiny start to show you. So I've just got the first row of the roofing. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the border or not. Yeah, so I've got the panda on one side and the little cottage on the other. I just love that little panda's face. And it's great, isn't it, when you think, oh, I'm going to finish it that way, or you've got something in your stash that you can finish it on. £2 from the works. So I think I might mount the piece on some card, have a bit of a bigger card and cover it with fabric, and then have some rickrack sticking out. I'm not really one for putting floral stuff on. I think that'll be enough afterwards. And then it could perhaps stand there. So there we go. So that's all my stitching that I've been doing. And oh, and I nearly forgot, because I haven't got it with me, it's at the framers. I managed to finish the baking tier, which is a gift for a friend whose birthday is next month. She turns 70, and I managed to finish it. And I got the chart here. Oh, please. No, I haven't. I thought I got the chart. Well, I have. It's in there somewhere. It's the Erin Elizabeth Designs tier, and it's the baking tier. I'll put a photo in here. Excuse the quality of the photo. I was in a rush going out to the framers, and I thought, oh, I haven't took a photo. So when I get it back from the framers, if I need to wrap it up and give it to her before I film, I will take a little extra video and pop it in my Flosstube so you can see it. So I decided to leave the meat cleavers off the bottom, but yeah, it's stitched up really quickly, so I'm glad I got that finished and at the framers. So I am planning to take my Cats in the Rain to get that one framed, because I love that one. So right, and go on to a little bit of haul. Now, the first piece of haul wasn't my fault. I was chatting with my sister Emily last night over WhatsApp, and she said, have you seen this chart? And I'd sort of vaguely seen the samplers, but I wasn't really interested in them. And I can't remember which Flosstuber she said she was watching, but they were talking about Crow's Feet Stitching, and I'll put a photo in here, is doing a fundraiser for the Whitby Museum, Whitby in North Yorkshire, on the North Yorkshire coast. And I don't quite know the backstory. I think in their shop, in the Whitby Museum, they have got, well, in their actual museum, in their textiles collection, they've got some samplers and some other stitch pieces that were donated from a lady that lived in Slights, which is a village near Whitby. And I think the story was that the lady from Crow's Feet Stitching, sorry, I'm not sure of her name, visited the museum, and a lot of the charts were out of stock. So I don't really know the full story how she came to have the charts on her Etsy shop, but needless to say, very long story short, she is doing a fundraiser for the Whitby Museum, and Whitby is a place that is very close to my heart. I just love it there, and we have considered moving there at some point, but I don't think we will now. It was when we were considering moving from Norfolk, and we go every summer there for a week. We stay in the same little fisherman's cottage in Robinhood's Bay, and we go to Whitby. And if you've never been to Whitby and you're up in the north in Yorkshire, I'd highly recommend going there. They've got the most amazing bookshop, which is on the little cobbled church street which leads up to the steps up to Whitby Abbey. So we've never actually been to the Whitby Museum. All the times we've been to Whitby, we've never been. So we are definitely going to go. We're going in July, and we're going to go to the Whitby Museum because it looks brilliant. So, needless to say, Crow's Feet Stitching, go and check them out on Etsy. Have got these charts up for sale, and minus the Etsy fees, all the money is going to go straight to the museum in Whitby, and they don't receive any funding from the government, so they are totally reliant on fundraising and admissions fees. So yeah, go and check out the charts. The one that I was unable to buy by my sister Emily was the cat one, and I'll show you that here. And she has purchased the rabbit one, and we've decided, because we're going up Sunday to Sunday and staying in a little cottage in Robin Hood's Bay, and Emily and her partner Brett are coming up, I think, on the Wednesday. They're bringing Bob, their amazing, gorgeous, huge golden retriever, and they are staying in the campsite at the top of the bay in Robin Hood's Bay. So we will spend some great time together, and then they are going off to a food festival in Skipton. So we've decided while we're together, we're going to start our Whitby Museum charts, which I can't wait. So yes, so definitely go over and check out Crow's Feet Stitching for the Whitby Museum fundraiser charts. They are lovely, and I will put a link to the Etsy shop in the description box below, and it'd be really, really great if you could purchase one and just have it in your stash, even though you're not going to stitch it at the moment, just to get some extra funds in for the Whitby Museum. So that was one of my haul. The other two pieces of haul are from not in the town that I live in, but a local town. They have got a charity shop that is just a bookshop for a local hospice here, and I always go in and have a look, and they've got a craft section, and I managed to pick up two things. I've always had an idea that I'd quite like to do a Noah's Ark at some stage. I didn't know what chart, but I just had a feeling I wanted to do a Noah's Ark. And I found this for the grand sum of 50p. It's a Stony Creek collection, and it is Noah, an Eternal Promise. Now, I don't know when I'm going to start this, but I just love this. Perhaps it might seem a bit dated, but I don't care. I'm just a big believer on you stitch on what you like with what you like. It's your hobby. Isn't that amazing? I love the sheep. 50p. Couldn't see that. And I'm just going to flash you the chart to show you just how enormous it is. Look at that. So yeah, so I might start, is it all DMC? Yeah, it's a really old one, so the DMC numbers might have changed. It's from 1989. I wonder if any of you have actually stitched this. Let me know if you have. Leaflet 25, 50p. Amazing. And they always have a stack of cross-stitch magazines. I normally rifle through all of them, and I picked this one up, The World of Cross-Stitching, issue 131. It's a Christmas edition, and I picked it up specifically for this chart, which I don't know why I like it, but I just think it's super cute. It's a Lucy Heaton, and it's story time around the fireside. Look at that. And this magazine was 50p as well. I mean, that border looks a bit daunting. I just love that cozy winter scene. So I snapped this up. I think this is 2004, I think, this chart. This magazine, I mean. I think it is. What else was in here? I quite like those Christmas cards, especially that one. But yes, it was definitely that winter Christmas scene that I really liked. So yes, so that was 2 pieces of amazing haul for £1 and supporting the local hospice shop. Oh, and the local hospice. Now the other thing I've got to show you is it's a kit I've had for ages and ages, and it's been on my mind, and I was enabled by 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐬 in her most recent Flosstube. She'd finished this and had it framed, and I thought, that's it, I've got to start it. So it is a bothy threads, and it is the snuggle is real. And the reason I got this kit is because this little kitten here reminds me so much of Percy when he was a little kitten. I'll put some photos in here. It's just lovely. And it comes with the speckled 14 count Ada. And it comes with all the threads. Now, my only bone of contention with bothy threads, I love it that they changed the packaging and it's in this cardboard, is that when the threads come, they are not looped round like Little Dove Designs ones are. So I spent yesterday just putting them on, and then of course a couple of them fell out, and I don't know where they come from, but of course when I stopped stitching it I realised. So that is ready to go now, and it's not a very big piece. This is the speckled Ada, and I think I am going to put in honour of Percy. Now, when he was little, when we first got him, he was tiny, and sadly him and Simon came with a horrible infection that was passed from animal to animal. So it was the breeders' animals had passed it on to our kittens, and they were really ill with terrible diarrhea. It was awful to begin with, bless them. But even though he was tiny, he was 1.3 kilograms. We used to call him our pocket rocket because he never stopped. So I'm going to put underneath there, if I can find some really nice lettering, I'm going to put Percy Pocket, because that's what we sort of call him now, Percy Pocket. And now we took Simon and Percy for a free pet health check. I think it was last month. I'm sure it was last month. Simon was 6.6 kilograms. That is right, isn't it? Kilograms, yeah. And Percy was 8.7. So Percy is now over a stone. He's huge. He is the size of a small dog. But you wouldn't believe it when we first got him. He was tiny. But now he's huge. And although he's a big cat, he's got a really, really timid, vulnerable side to him. He doesn't like loud noises, and he gets frightened quite easily. But he's so funny. He is the only cat that I've ever had that sleeps on their back and he's got his back legs up in the air, showing everything to the world. He's just so funny, and he snores really loud. So yeah, so I'm doing this in honour of Percy, who you would have seen how big he is at the beginning of the video, in my intro video. So yeah, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬 from 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐬 Stitch. She's just had it framed and it looks amazing. And I need this one stitched and framed as well, because that is how big he was. He would have fitted in a slipper. So I think that's all I've got to show you today. I seem like I've rabbited on for ages. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to tell me what you've been stitching on and also where you are in the world. And also I said I was planning a Q&A Flosstube extra. I've had some questions in, but I could do with a few more. So if you want to ask me something, anything within reason, I will answer. If it's stitchy related or you want to know about me, I doubt it, just ask me, and then I will put together a little Q&A Flosstube extra. And I asked about if you would like a stitch with me video, and the response was positive, so I'm going to do a stitch with me. Being ill for a week or so, after I got better, I also really struggle with fatigue as well. So I have all these plans and sometimes I can't always do them. So, but I'm definitely doing the Flosstube extra Q&A, and I will also film a stitch with me. I know that Lara from My Stitch Birds has been doing some live episodes. I'm not sure about doing one of those. Maybe I will in the future. Maybe when we've moved and I've got a separate craft area in the spare room, I'll do it then. But the boys are quite boisterous, and I'm not sure we would have some quiet time. Might get a lot of interruptions, but I will bear that in mind for the future. Anyway, I am still rabbiting on here, so I'll end here, and I will say thank you so much for all the support you give to my channel. I read and heart all the comments and I love them. And until I see you again, which I hope to get the Q&A maybe done in the next week or so. So if you can get your questions in, that'll be great. And then I'll be back with you in a fortnight for a regular Flosstube. But until then, stay happy, healthy and happy stitching, everybody. Bye.